And there was about 1,000 people there that night going crazy for Jesus. A bit like tonight. People with their arms up just surrendering to Him. And I remember looking at people with tears in their eyes. And in that first half an hour or so, I couldn't quite get my head around it. I didn't really understand it. I didn't really know what was going on, because something, as I was looking around, was stirring up on the inside of me. It was becoming uncomfortable. I felt I had to loosen up my arms a little bit. And I was trying so hard to just stand there and not tap my feet. I didn't want to do anything that night. I was there to observe. I was there to watch. And as the music went on, I felt something resonating in my spirit. Something started knocking on the doors of my heart. Something that I couldn't ignore. I was trying to push it down and get rid of it, but it just kept welling up and welling up and welling up. To the point where I know I stood there, and out of nowhere I just started to cry. I started to cry because I felt the presence of God in such a tangible way. For the first time in a long time, I know I didn't understand fully His love or His grace or His mercy, but I knew in that moment God was transforming me from the inside out. I couldn't hide it. I couldn't push it down any longer. But I felt something. I can't even explain what I felt. But I felt it. Right down deep in my heart, I felt it. And I remember them coming to the end of the worship night, just like tonight. And the guy got up and said a few things similar to now what I'm saying. And he said, you know, I want to give people the opportunity to make their peace with Jesus. And I remember standing at the back with tears in my eyes, feeling something but still having such a stubborn heart. I remember saying to God, God, I am not going to put my hand up. God, I am not going to walk down the front. This is not my time, God. This is not my time. And you know what? The moment the guy said it, I actually found myself really running to the front of that altar. I think I was the first one. And I cried my eyes out and I gave my heart to God. And I asked Him to come into my life. I asked Him to forgive me of my sin. And I said, Father, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for choosing my ways, God. I'm sorry for doing this and for doing that and whatever. I said, I'm sorry, God, but today, God, I want to receive your forgiveness. And I remember at that altar, I repented of my sins right there, and I said, I'm sorry. And I just felt this feeling of love come all over me as God come and lived on the inside of me. The most incredible day of my life today. And so I tell that story tonight because I know that there's people right here in this room, whether you're on the floor or upstairs, right at the back. I know how you feel, mate. I know God's been knocking on your heart tonight. So in a moment, I'm gonna ask you to be bold. I'll get everyone to stand up in just a moment. And if that's you this evening, if you would say, you know what, Luca, I don't get it. I don't fully understand it. But tonight, something is stirring on the inside. I want to receive this grace. I want to receive His love. I want to receive His mercy. I want to receive the fullness of God. Whatever that means, I want it. I want you to be bold this evening and just say yes to Him. I tell you, it doesn't matter what your life looks like right now. I tell you, I was a mess. I was broken. I was lost. Some would say perhaps I was even running from God. Well, maybe that's you tonight. I can tell you there's no mess too big that He cannot come in and fix. No mess too big that he cannot come in and turn around. He can change your life from the inside out tonight if you would just let him in. If you would just surrender your heart to him. If you would just say, God, I'm yours. God, I'm yours. I'm sorry, God, but now I change. I want to change tonight. I can't change on my own, but I know with you, Father, you can change me. I want to live free tonight. I want a relationship with you tonight, God. I want to spend eternity with you, Father. If that's you this evening, don't miss the opportunity. Don't worry or think about the person to your left or to your right. Do you know when I made that decision on that night? I remember being so excited. So excited. The next day I made some drastic changes in my life, and people were really shocked actually. People thought I was crazy. Some people said, oh, it's just a phase. Some people laughed at me. Some people said, you'll get over it, Luke. But I knew something happened that night. It wasn't a phase. It wasn't a joke. I was serious. And I knew God was serious with me. And I can stand here 8 years on in a privileged position to invite people to ask Jesus to come and live in you. I don't take it for granted. But I can encourage you tonight. And I don't say it lightly, I mean it. It was the best decision of my life. The best. I know that there's many in this room who know exactly what I'm talking about. In fact, you're probably thinking of that own moment right now when you made that decision to get your heart right with God. And so what I'd like to do now, I'd like everyone to stand to your feet again. I hope I've given your legs a little rest. But we do this in every service because this is what it's all about. This is what it's all about, giving people the opportunity to leave church different to the way they came in. So if you could, I'd like every head bowed and every eye closed.